If you're a musician, you definitely know why you became one, why you picked the instrument you play, and who influenced you in your play style. Tonight, we will look at the influences that help develop our play style as musicians right here in the Hairband Basement.
This is the hair metal theme for the Hairband Basement Show, where I talk about hair metal and stuff and things.
Welcome to the Hairband Basement. I am your host, Basement Brian, and tonight we literally have a band here. We got a drummer, vocalist, guitarist, and a bassist. The premise for tonight, I wanted to have musicians on to say their influences into their playing, why they play the instruments that they play. So I invited these guys on. Have you guys introduce each other. So Freddie, why don't you start us off and introduce yourself to the audience here?
All right, dude. This is my first time coming on your channel, so I appreciate the invite, dude. Yeah, we've known each other for a while on X, but um, I do I guess we met on X because I do a hair metal radio station show, and I absolutely love '80s and early '90s glam and sleaze and pop metal, thrash metal. But I've been a music fan, dude, since as far back as I can remember. I've got pictures of me when I was 2 years old wearing my parents' headphones, listening to their records, and it's always been something that drew me to it, and I love playing. Did I play a little bit of guitar, piano, but the drums are they came natural. I didn't even have to really work at it. It was just I really wanted to be a guitar player, but I don't have the patience to sit down and actually practice like I really should. And so drums it just came natural, dude. So, but I love it, man. I love music, all kind of music. I love playing, listening to it. It's all good.
All right, cool. Why don't you tell the folks where they can find you at and all that kind of stuff?
Well, let's see here. I'm on you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on X. Just type in Freddie Hall. I also play drums in a heavy metal band, a modern metal band, even though I do a hair metal show. I know some people are like, dude, how the hell do you play what you play on your show and then you play in this kind of band? But I don't know. I love it, dude. But if you were to look up the band, it's F.I.L.T.H, because if you look up the other filth, it takes you to a band out of North Carolina that's a little bit different than us. But yeah, just type in Freddie Hall on all the socials. I'm there.
Nice. Because was it Trick 13 played some of your
Yeah.
songs, and that
Oh, did you actually get to hear them today?
Yes, I was listening to it on the way home to that Filth
Yeah.
song was kick ass. I was like, I don't know if you know of a band called Egypt Central.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that, and I was like,
Okay.
oh, this is nice. This is nice. I can get into this.
Yeah.
All right, so Mojo, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us how you ended up becoming a vocalist?
Hey, I'm Mojo Mumi. I don't know. I always gravitated towards singing. Being the first time I heard, oh man, probably Quiet Riot's Mental Health. I was probably 6 years old. And then, I don't know, fast forward to, I actually had a band of my own 20 years ago. My influences there was kind of all over the board though. Like Rob Zombie, I'm influenced by, and, but that band fell apart, and then I got the opportunity to host my own radio show, and I've always loved music since the time I was 6 years old, especially hard rock, heavy metal. So discovering Motley Crue and Quiet Riot and all of them. So for 12 years, I had my own radio show on the local radio station here in town, and it's called Mojo Rocks. And I just 2 weeks ago ended it. I just don't have the time anymore to sit and do it and put it together, because being divorced and spending time with my daughter, and it literally would take me a week to put together one show and then get it edited and then sent. It ate up all my time, so I put the end to it. And but you can still, as of right now, you can still find the last, I don't know how many years worth of old episodes that I did at mojomumi.podbean.com.
All right, cool.
So
Cool.
I've tons of interviews there. People I've interviewed, like Michael Sweet, Joel Hoekstra, Ace Von Johnson, Jesse James Dupree. Yeah.
Nice. All right, cool.
Big list.
All right, Jay, why don't you've been here before numerous times. You go through your plugs and everything. I'm surprised Mel Jr. mentioned Sweet Damage. Is that kind of
I
what
was
you're
actually
doing?
getting ready to.
Yeah, I'll pull the weight on behalf of my lead singer over here.
Please
I'm lead
do, because I
guitarist
don't
in
like to
Sweet
toot my own
Damage.
horn.
Mojo's lead singer in Sweet Damage. Find me on X, find me on Instagram, find me on Facebook, find me on my fucking corner here. Um, you know, I love music shit ever since I was a little kid, but until I was around 11, I didn't listen to any hard rock or metal. I listened to what was on the radio. So to me,
Mhm.
um, Richard Marx was heavy shit. And
Okay. All right.
okay, so
Wow.
anybody that has
Don't bring home the
got some
mom.
of my lists on various podcasts know that I have a very wide taste in what I like. What I like is what I like. I don't believe it's a guilty pleasure. If anybody doesn't like it, they can go fuck themselves. I don't care. I like what I like. So I like everything from fucking Paula Abdul to Slayer, essentially, to Christina
Fair enough.
Aguilera to Beethoven. I mean, all across the fucking board. But for the sake of this, um, I got turned on to Motley Crue when Feel Good came out. And what actually led to me being a guitar player, though, was late night ABC TV. They used to have this thing called In Concert on
Oh
there.
yeah, I remember that.
And, I lived out in the fucking country, man. I had 3 channels to watch. So TV was not a huge fucking deal to me. But this was not long after I got into hard rock stuff. I saw a commercial for In Concert 91. It was Poison, Slaughter, and the Bullet Boys.
Crank up the volume for In Concert 91. Tonight, Poison, Slaughter, and the Bullet Boys.
And
Lineup.
I stayed up, I watched that episode. CC DeVille is what made me want to be a guitar player.
Okay.
Yeah.
His overall hotness.
Actually, it's fucked, but it has nothing to do with his hotness, bro.
Okay. Fair enough.
And no, he didn't have the fucking pink hair.
They didn't have the big hair
Although
yet.
that never has played into me dyeing my fucking goatee pink.
Okay.
That's from a different influence. Yeah, I saw that. Go fuck yourself.
Pinky Tuscadero.
No, just watching him solo and listening to it and going off the fucking wall. And he looked real cool doing it. And I mean, he's the reason I fell in love with Ibanez guitars, which I still play to this day. So
I respect that.
Yeah.
I got 3 Ibanez basses myself. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the brand. Yeah, for myself, I see a lot. Same thing. Like I was big into music, especially. I see it's up in the air what my really first album was. I remember getting Metal Health by Quiet Riot for Christmas.
Yep.
But then I also got the first album I bought was 1984 by Van Halen. And that kind of set my path into just being a huge fan of music and this music specifically. Throughout high school, that's all I spent my money on. I'd get it, and I'd get your job, and then just buy cassettes because I'm an old fuck, and then CDs when they became a thing.
Yep.
And I remember my mom saying, "Hey, if you didn't buy all this music, you'd have your own car by now." I'm like, "Yeah, what I play in it? I'm gonna drive around, listen to the engine. That's crazy talk."
Yep.
But
See,
in
I
high
know why you
school,
spent all your money on it, though. you didn't have a cat like mine that was cool enough to join Columbia House and
That was
get you
later.
12 fucking free cassettes for a penny.
Yeah, it's true. But
Yeah.
I did that later in college when I started switching addresses around. I was like, we didn't have a dog, so I was like, but in high school, I was like, I'm gonna play guitar. Guitar might be the way to go. I'm into music. Why not go to the next step? I just never got into it. Just never stepped into it. And then when I went to college, I had a couple of friends that played guitar. One of them sang, another one played drums, and I was like, how about bass? Like nobody plays bass. I'll always get a gig, so I'm good there.
Yep.
I thought it looked cool because the longer neck. I was like, it looks awesome. And stupid me, and young and naive, I thought you only thump it on one note. It's easy to play. How hard can it be? Oh, it's way more complex than that.
Uh-huh.
It's way more complex than that. And yeah, I've stuck with it ever since. I'm not in a band currently, but I still, enjoy plugging in and playing. So yeah, so the premise here, we're each gonna go through three influences that either got us to play, formed our style, or influenced in some way or another. So we'll stick
All
with
right.
the same order as the drummer. Freddie, why don't you tell us your first influence?
All right. Well, earlier today I was thinking, do I go with because I took like a 15, 16-year break from playing because I
Hmm.
played growing up. And then, when grunge hit, it kind of killed my dream. I was supposed to go out to LA. I had long hair and
Yeah.
was going to be one of those dudes. And then it all went to shit in 1992 when I graduated high school. So I had to
Okay.
completely rethink my life. So I was torn. Do I go with the guys that have influenced what I do now, or the ones that influenced me to begin with? So I figured, since I do a hair metal show, I know you guys love hair metal. I'm going to stick with the ones that made me want to be a musician. And I think we probably all sound the same. My first rock and roll hard rock album was Metal Health. My cousin,
Hmm.
uh, her family gave it to me. I think, I don't remember if it was my birthday or for Christmas, but I didn't have MTV yet. And I remember seeing Come On Feel the Noise and Metal Health at her house. And I was like, what the hell is this?
I love it. I love it.
So they got me the album. And then just something about the way Frankie Benali played. And it was like, Metal Health was cool. And then you had the drum intro with Come On Feel the Noise. And then
Yeah.
when you flipped it over and it got to like Run for Cover with the drum solo. When I had never heard anything like that. So I'm like, whoa, that's amazing. And I'd already like had plenty of little toy drum sets that I would bust to pieces, but it kind of started. I found myself air drumming to it. So that was the first metal album that I got. And it just, he was an influence the entire time, whether he was in Quiet Riot, whether he was in Wasp,
Hmm.
all the other bands. He was, he did a ton of studio work, but he was just a rock solid kick-ass drummer.
He was.
And that was one of the things that I think all the drummers that really influenced me in the beginning was I learned to just play whatever the song needed. As much as I love all the flashy, crazy drummers, I can do that stuff if I really want to, but I just like to be the meat and potatoes guy, just back there, you know, watching
Keep in
everybody
time.
bounce and groove. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, those are my dudes, man. The meat and potatoes guys. And Frankie Benali was the first one that really made me go, what the hell is this?
No, all right. Yeah. I can't tell how many. I actually thought about being a drummer. And then
Did
I
you?
was like, I am not carrying all that shit around. That would stop me. I
It is
am
a
not carrying this kid
dude.
around and lugging that crap.
It's a pain in the I love playing shows, but if you don't have help, it is a pain in the ass. And
Yes.
if I bring my entire kit, like if we're playing House of Blues or something, I'll bring my entire kit. I've got two bass drums, two mounted toms, two floor toms. I've
Too
got a
much
rack
already.
that goes around me. I've got a gong. I've got like all kind of damn cymbals, and it takes a few people to help me get it on and off stage.
Oh God.
So when I play by myself and I'm not sure I have help where we're going, I'll I break it down to where I can do everything myself. So, but yeah, dude, it's even when you take a small kit on the road with you, dude, you're by the time you get there, you set up, you play the set, you break your shit down, You load it back in the car. Dude, it's a hell of a workout.
Yeah,
Keeps me in shape though.
but then you get home at 3 in the morning and you have to
Yeah,
unload all that shit into the oh.
I know
See, I've been
it's
in bands where it's like I didn't want to be a drummer because I want to lug the shit around. And next thing you know, I'm helping the drummer lug his shit around. I'm like, dude, this isn't even my stuff. I don't care. You carry your own fucking bass drum.
it's fun to play on stage, and it's great when you're recording, when you're playing. But when it's time to load and unload, I
Sucks.
go, damn it, I really should have focused more on the guitar because
Yeah, yeah.
this sucks.
For me, it was just my amp, bass, and a cord to
Yeah,
plug it in. That's all I needed. And I even remember at one point got a smaller car, so I couldn't fit all this shit in. Like, you figure out how to lug the drums
yeah,
around. I'm not doing it no more. I have
yep.
nothing to do with it. All right, cool. All right. So, Mojo, who's your first influence to becoming a vocalist?
Um, that this was pretty tough. But vocally, I've always gravitated to the speak singing, so to speak. So I went with Joe Elliott, Def Leppard,
All
for
right.
Hell
one of
yeah.
one of my major influences because I don't know, I kind of sing like him. I maybe not note for note or anything, but the way he goes about, the way he approaches the song lyrically or vocally. So I've always been a big fan of Joe Elliott singing. So yeah, this was pretty tough to put together.
Yeah. So, like, what's your favorite Def Leppard album then? Do you prefer the earlier stuff when they were good, or the poppier stuff later on in their career?
I actually like all Def Leppard albums,
Okay.
with the exception of maybe, I don't know, I wasn't a big fan of X or
Hmm.
10 or whatever. It had a couple good songs. Um, I love High and Dry. I love Pyromania, and I love Hysteria. If you take Pour Some Sugar on Me out of it,
And Love Bites.
yeah, I could do without Love Bites for sure, but I would rather hear Love Bites any day over Pour Some Sugar on Me. So
Is
um,
that because you don't like the song, or it got played to fucking death?
I loved it when I was 10 years old.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Um, I can't stand to hear it now. I
Mm.
have other songs like that Jay knows about that I'm not a huge fan of to this day. That was something I liked back when I was 10, but and Jay has a song that he can't fucking stand. So
Oh, there's a few. There's a few.
Well, we know about Final Countdown.
yeah.
Me and Jason were planning on bribing your keyboardist to play that between every song on stage. Go out to
Oh,
Iowa and do
I
your
didn't
shows.
tell you. Ted, our illustrious keyboard player, was listening to the fucking song at work, takes a video of it and sends it to our band chat. And it was loud as shit when I went to play it. So I'm like, what the fuck is he listening to? And I hear the keyboards and I'm thinking, that last thing I do.
All right, Jay, what's your first influence as a guitarist?
Well, I'm gonna go kind of in, I guess, in chronological order of who was my biggest influences first, then the next one, and just keep the cycle going
Yeah, we know
towards
what chronological means. We got you.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. It's been a long fucking week. So sue me, and
Not my
remember,
problem.
there's a few people that aren't too intelligent that might watch this someday.
Okay, fair
You
enough.
know who I'm talking
Fair enough. Way to educate the masses.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, some people need education, and I'm yeah. Anyway, um, my number one is Mick Mars.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
While CC DeVille was cool as fuck and made me want to play guitar, listening to, once I got into that genre of music and really started doing a deep dive into bands. When I found a band I liked, I bought the whole fucking catalog and really went through it. And Mick wrote the tastiest, usually simple riffs,
Yeah.
melodic. They got groove. A lot of them are a little bit heavy, but the thing is, they're fucking memorable. And you know, I like the first music video I saw of theirs was, I think it was Dr. Feelgood, but I remember the video for Girls, Girls, Girls. I mean,
hmm
he's just fucking kicked back in a chair, and then when he gets to that fucking solo at the end, I mean, he's got titties around him. He's got a fucking cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and he's just sitting there, cool as fuck, shredding. And I'm like, and that's a great fucking, line how he ends that song. I mean, of course, the folklore is he was drunk and fell off a stool, so
I heard that, yeah.
that was the take. And but I mean, Motley Crue aside, if you listen to his solo album he put out, the
Yep.
song "Undone" is fucking slamming.
I totally agree with you on that, yeah.
But yeah, Mick is. I mean, if I had to pick one guitar player to listen to the rest of my life, it's going to be Mick.
And you're right. I mean, everyone keeps saying how like the 94 album, it's not Crew because of Vince Neil. I'm sorry, but fucking Mick Mars is Motley Crue. I
Dude, I
don't think
dig that album. I didn't.
Well,
I wasn't sure I could like it back in the day, but now that I'm older, dude, that album absolutely rips. I love that album.
I agree with you on that. And I
Yes.
gave it took me some time to get into it as well, but I think as a guitarist and as a member of Motley Crue, Mick Mars is disgustingly underrated.
Absolutely.
oh,
Yes.
he's probably the most underrated guitarist of the whole fucking genre.
I might have to agree with that. Yeah, it's
Well,
a good
you
point.
remember Circus Magazine used to have them fucking polls every
Yep.
year?
Absolutely.
Mick won Best Guitar Player one time. One time is it. I mean, look at all the fucking bands that spawned off Motley's influence.
Yeah.
Mick gets no credit from anybody except for real musicians. They're the ones who can appreciate what he's done.
He knew how to write a damn riff. I mean, and his solos, he could rip when he wanted to, but he had a knack, almost like Vito Bratta, to where he could play a guitar solo that you could almost hum and sing along to, and it was memorable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, Vito
And then-
did that.
Yeah.
Vito would sing his guitar solos where he did them. But I'm with you
Well,
on
and
that.
then another thing with Mick is, I'm a big fan of two guitar bands,
Oh yeah.
but Mick, his wall of sound is that of fucking three guitar players live. I mean, his rig from the Feel Good point up until, whenever was legendary
Oh yeah.
for those Soldanos and them Jose modded Marshalls he played. And it's just a huge fucking wall of brutality.
Yeah, Mick is a badass.
Yeah, yeah. When they kicked him out, fucking assholes. Come on. What are you doing?
I know.
Like, way to appreciate everything he's done for you for fucking 40 years.
Right.
Unbelievable. All right, so my first influence, mine's in no particular order. I just threw them on what they influenced me on. And mine is mostly influenced me for my gear, especially two of my basses. And it's the fretless monster himself, Tony Franklin.
Franklin.
And specifically the way he had his tone and sound on Blue Murder's debut.
That's such a good album.
Oh, it's one of my favorite all-time albums of all time. And I remember getting that because it was like, oh, John Sykes from Whitesnake is going to put out a new album. And I was a big Whitesnake fan at the time. What was it, 89? So it was mostly the
Yeah.
older stuff I was really into. And I remember getting that. And I still remember that was the first time I ever noticed a fretless bass. I remember hearing it going, there's something different sounding with this. And you find out he's got no frets on. You figure out what that means or whatever. But that sound and that tone, went out later on once I started playing bass. I ended up getting two fretless basses just because of that album.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and it was like one I got well, a few years ago where it's my fretless four string Ibanez, which I that's like my go-to bass. That's my number one. But I remember what was it like 96 or so? My girlfriend dumped me, and I did what every musician does to feel better, go buy some new gear.
Yeah.
And I ended up buying a Ibanez fretless five string, thinking, oh, it's got. Like, at the time, I had no idea what I was doing, and it was my second, actually third bass I actually would play, and it was like five strings sounds cooler, and it's fretless, so it must be better. And I just got it, and for years it just sat there because if you're not really used to playing a five string, it's a different animal altogether than a four string. But then as years went by and I got more experience and knew how to actually play the instrument, the sound on that thing, I'm like, fuck, this is nice. It's got that warm, big
Yeah.
fretless sound to it. And that's probably the closest I ever got to getting that Tony Franklin sound on that album. And it's shit. The only downfall of that thing, it's heavy as hell. It's just heavy.
Yeah.
I can't keep it on stage for the whole show. My shoulder would hurt, my back would give out. But the sound, my God. Actually, when we did City to City, I used the five string on what was the first song we did, Jay?
Um, You're in Love.
Yes, that was I believe that was the five string, and then I used the fretless four string on Giving Yourself Away. Or maybe the other way around, I think about it. It was one or the other, I don't remember. But yeah, I just love the sound of a fretless bass and such a heavy album like that. It was so
Yeah.
different, at least to me at the time. And yeah, ended up spending well, the five string, I ended up putting over $1,000 on a credit card to get it. So I was a broke ass musician with no money, heartbroken, and decided let me put this on the
Yep.
credit card. Right, yeah, that's my first one. All right, Freddie, who's your next drum influence?
Well, to keep with the Motley Crue theme here, I'm going to go ahead and say probably the most obvious, given that I'm 53 years old. My third album that I ever got was Shout at the Devil. I got it
Mm,
when I was 10 years old in '83, and that is to this day that is my all-time favorite album. Something about the entire album, the songs, when you opened it up, you saw the gatefold, you saw what the guys looked like, you saw the videos,
yeah,
but just Tommy, just I don't know, man. The way he played, he knew how to play to what the song needed, and he was just a badass. And he was, I mean, for the longest time, he was my favorite crew member. And then when you go see him live and you see all the crazy shit that he would do in his solos, and every time you see him, he would try to top it. I was like, that's what I want to do. And it was just that I think it was just the way that Shout at the Devil kind of grabbed me. And when you're listening to it, with big speakers, the way the stereos back in the day that we all had, it just
hmm
had a way of just hitting you in the stomach. And it's like, man, that I loved what Frankie was doing with Quiet Riot, but that was just it took it up a notch, and it just that became he was my dude for the longest time. I mean, I think if a lot of people are honest, that they would probably say that Tommy is one of their influences. I know some people might say, well, it's not cool to like Motley Crue anymore, but there were when he wants to play, he's a badass. He is capable of a lot more than what he does on the Motley Crue albums. But he plays for what the song needs,
yeah,
and
okay.
he has a groove, and he's tasty with the way he does fills. He just everything about what he does. It fits that style of music perfectly.
I thought the best Tommy Lee drum album was Motley '94.
I was going to say that is the bad. I mean, all the other albums he's a badass, but the way that he is playing on that album and that drum sound, that to me is his top drumming album ever.
Well,
Yeah.
when you listen to just the first, say, 30 seconds of Power of the Music,
Oh yeah,
hmm
I mean, right there it sells it.
oh
Yeah, I think
absolutely.
so. Everything with the fallout with Vince, he was probably pissed. I mean, we've talked about this with George Lynch and Don Dokken and their issues, and how George just kills it on Back for the Attack, and then Left Dock and then just destroys on Wicked Sensation.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah.
pissed at something, you got something to prove.
Yeah.
You go
Absolutely.
all in, yeah. See, I'm with you. I think Shout Out the Devil's probably their best album. I'll just throw that out there. I mean, for me, the debut is probably my favorite, but I always
Yeah.
wondered, like, did Tommy get a new cowbell before they recorded that album? Because every song has him hitting the cowbell. It seems like every single
Yep.
song. Like, holy Christ, why don't you slow down with that?
Well, I'm your live wire. You should have seen the signs. Enemy number one. I'm public enemy. What's right for you ain't right for every. Say it, babe, I don't think you're fool. I got news for you.
I could have used a little more cowbell.
Uh,
That's my number 2 Crew album. And those first 2 albums, that's damn near almost impossible to top for me.
mhm.
1 and 2 album, that just, man. And those 2 albums right there, I really think kind of set the template of what was going to happen throughout the rest of the 80s and the early 90s. A
Yeah, I'm
lot
with
of
you on
bands
that.
were influenced by those 2 albums.
I get you. Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. But also, I think Shout Out the Devil set the tone to make Motley Crue the how big of a band they
Oh
became.
yeah,
That
absolutely.
that really just propelled them.
Remember
Because
how they were devil worshippers and they were evil and the church groups were after them because of the
I
pentagram,
know,
and it
I
was.
know.
And I grew up in
Well,
Alabama, so I and my mom had me in church, so I was always hearing rock and roll is evil, and I can't tell you how many times I would go home and like I'm thumbing through my records and tapes, going, "Yep, I got the one that he preached about that album and that album and that album," and I'm like, "Oh, it made me feel cool." And God
yeah.
forbid if a freaking album had a fucking PMRC or an explicit lyric
Oh
sticker on it.
yeah.
Oh, that was the whole fucking selling point behind some of the albums.
If I was ever
Why?
Mhm.
at the
Because it had the
mall,
sticker.
if I was at the mall and I only had enough money for one album, and the 2 that I wanted, one had a sticker on it, and the other one didn't, I'm going with the one with the sticker every single
Yeah.
time, just because if I'm not supposed to have it, now it makes me want it even more.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was such it backfired so badly where the
Oh
kids
yeah.
are now going out looking for that damn sticker. You're
Oh,
so right
absolutely.
about that. Yeah. All right, Mojo, who's your second influence as a vocalist?
Well, sticking with this Motley Crue theme, um, I'm going with John Corabi.
Mm.
Um, since before he joined Motley Crue, and when I noticed him in the Scream,
Great album.
um, Father, Mother, Son, that song has been my favorite song since I heard that song. But again, raspy, raspy style vocals I've always loved and gravitated to.
I'm with you on
Um,
that.
and he's just an excellent singer and he's an excellent songwriter. And Motley 94, that just from Power to the Music to Drift Away, that whole album is phenomenally sung vocally. Just it's a great hard rock heavy metal record, and
Yeah.
even his solo stuff, his acoustic stuff,
Oh yeah.
um, just in the Dead Daisies,
Mm-hmm.
just
Oh, yeah.
he kicks ass vocally. And I've had the pleasure of hanging out with him a lot and I got to know him, and I've had supper with him and interviewed him, and so he'll always be one of my top singers of all time. So
Let
John
me ask you, you
Corabi.
like that album so much, and I love that album. If I've always thought this, and tell me if you agree, if that album came out under a different name than Motley Crue, because it sounded so different, do you think more people would have been accepting to it and it would have blown up more?
Absolutely.
I've
No,
always
there's
Yeah,
thought that.
there's no doubt in my mind.
Really? See, I
But
disagree.
yes and
You think
no.
so?
the
I can see
double-edged
both.
sword of it is, people that didn't buy it because it was Motley Crue, uh, they would have been enticed to buy it. But the people that bought it because it was Motley Crue probably wouldn't have.
Yeah.
But I think it would. I don't think it would have been as hated by so many right away if
Yeah.
it would have been a different band name.
Now that's probably true.
But I don't think they could have gotten away from the Motley Crue name.
Yeah.
I think part of it was, yeah, it's a selling point for Motley Crue. It's an established band. You all know what we are about. But I don't think it would. It was like we're gonna rename this, and then people aren't gonna get or be like, "This is Motley Crue." Like it's three
Three of the
fourths of the
four.
band, so it's
Yeah.
pretty much Motley Crue. I don't think they could have escaped
Yeah.
it, but I think it was part of the marketing of it as well. Yeah, hey, look, a new Motley Crue album. I don't know if people would have bought more or less because of it. I think maybe some people might have. It might have. I think I would maybe sold less because no one knows who the hell these people are.
Well, let
That
me
could have hurt
reword
it
it different.
too.
If you would have just heard the album without seeing any pictures or anything, somebody played you the music and said, "Hey, what do you think of this band?" And that's all you heard was the music. I think a lot of people would have been like, "This is badass." But then when they said, "Oh, well, that's actually the new Motley Crue album without Vince," then they'd have been like, "Oh, well, fuck. Okay, well, I was prepared to hate it, but now that I heard the music first, I actually dig it." But I think knowing that it was Motley Crue, and there's a lot of fans out there, unless it's the four dudes, they don't want to deal with Motley Crue without Vince. They don't
I
want to
get
deal with
that.
the album that had New Tattoo that didn't have Tommy on it. They want those four. That's all they want. Some of them.
But because I see there was no way. Let's say they named it. I don't know, fucking pentagrams and the pentagrams. I don't know. I'm making up fucking names. I can't see them being played on the radio and the DJ not bringing up that it's mostly Motley Crue.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, that they would have had to fight that now instead of they would have been fighting the Motley Crue name one way or another, I think. Plus, it
I
was
think
Yeah,
at
I
that
don't
time they
think
were
94.
there was.
damned if they do, damned if they don't.
Yeah, and
Unfortunately.
also it was 94, and that album was not going to sell 8 million copies in 1994 because the music scene sucked at that point. You know, it was all grunge was kind of fading out, but it was still on like MTV and all that shit.
But
So,
Robbie is a hell of a singer and
yeah.
songwriter, just like he said. He really is. He is
Yeah.
ultra talented.
Yes, yes. I'm surprised he hasn't made it big and on his own in some way or
I
another.
haven't. I can't believe that either. It's hard to
Yeah.
understand why.
And you know, I think I think that's cool that he hasn't, honestly, because he's such a down to earth, very approachable guy. I can't imagine if it was any other way what he'd be like.
Yeah,
And
it's a good point.
I like this guy that I've gotten to know. So
Yeah, hopefully it would have been the same. Yeah, I've been like, hey, all right, I get where I'm coming from, where I'm
right.
at, thanks to you guys. Who knows? Who knows? All right, Jay, who's your second guitarist influence?
Well, In Concert 91 brought me CC DeVille, which brought me to guitar. Same program, different lineup of bands. This band was given one song on air, and the band was Pantera, and the song was Primal Concrete Sledge.
Mm.
And when I heard the song, it fucking blew me away. And I'm watching and I see Dime, and I'm like, fuck. So fast forward a little bit. The only album that I could find quickly and easily was Cowboys from Hell.
Mhm.
So I buy it, and that fucking riff of the title track.
Mm.
Yes.
And Dime, he took me from being solely influenced guitar wise, hard rock or glam metal or whatever you want to call it, to having a heavier edge. But then again, when you start really doing the dig back on Dime, he was a hell of a shredder back in the 80s
Yeah.
when Pantera was glam.
Pantera, yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, there's nothing the guy couldn't play, and them sounds that he got out of that Digitech whammy pedal are
Yep.
legendary. And you know, gear wise, Dime had a big influence on me. Randall amps, which I still play to this day. And I mean, I shudder to think what else we would have heard out of him.
I
You
know.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were playing
and
when you got into
I
Pantera. You
I
were
was
playing.
playing, and I mean, I had already recorded a couple albums, and I mean, I'd actually gotten away from playing at that point due to some reasons, but I'll never forget the night that happened. I was
Yeah.
watching TV, and they broke in on CNN that Dime was murdered. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yep. I remember that. That was hard, dude.
I was in shock, and I'm glad somebody put the motherfucker down that killed him.
That was 2004, wasn't
That's
it?
not punishment
Something
Yeah.
like
enough,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in my old band, and we were they were big Dimebag fans too. I remember when that happened. That was a really, really bad time for us.
Yeah.
All of us.
Yeah. I mean, I remember hearing about it at work. I'm like, what? How? Like that's your first thing. Like, how does that even happen? How does that
Yeah.
yeah, how's that allowed? I mean, you're like, shit, that sucks.
right? I
Ugh.
mean, what he did in Pantera was legendary, but the stories of how he treated people
Oh
and
yeah.
how generous he was it
Oh,
makes
for
him
sure.
an even better person than he was a guitar player.
Yeah.
And I mean, Pantera wasn't the only thing he excelled at. I mean, look at what he did with some of his guest spots on some of Anthrax's albums.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then Damage Plan was fucking phenomenal on
Yep.
that first
Yep.
album. I mean, there's
And
not
that
enough
and that
good
record
things
he
to say about
did
how
with
he
David Allen
influenced
Coe.
me.
That's a badass album, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it is. Uh,
And little factoid, which it still makes me chuckle. Our keyboard player, Ted,
Oh yeah.
he fucking grew up with Diamond Vince. He
Yeah.
lived in Arlington,
no
Texas back
shit.
in the early 80s. Dime taught him how to fucking play guitar. He
No
was a
kidding.
roadie on a couple of Pantera tours. So it's just, I mean, he's got stories for days.
Wow.
I bet.
Oh shit, that's cool. All right, so my second one, see, mine, like I said, no particular order, and I think Blue Murder might be the most hair metal, quote unquote, album because it came out at the time. But in the late, actually, it was late, about mid to late 90s, I was in a Led Zeppelin cover band. And that's when I got into Zeppelin when I was in college. And that's when I started playing bass. But then when I started, when I joined this cover band, and you really start listening to the intricacies of John Paul Jones's playing,
Yeah.
Yes.
it was just like it was almost like when Dorothy stepped out of the house and she was in Oz. That's what it was like for me because not for nothing. A lot of hair metal bands don't really go too crazy with the bass. It's usually one note. It's a steady note, playing style. It's a background instrument, whatever. But JPJ, when I started learning this stuff, I'm like, damn, there's way more to this instrument than I first convinced myself of, basically. And
Yeah.
yeah, playing in that band really opened me up to what is possible on the bass
Yeah.
and what people have done outside of just the simple bump, 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 bump kind of playing style. I mean, stuff like iconic, something simple like the intro to Dazed and Confused is iconic. The way he plays on like Ramble On is just fantastic. what was the live album from Song Remains the Same.
Yeah.
Mm.
The stuff he's doing, and he is the guy that I think deserves way more credit because everyone knows Jimmy Page, everyone knows Robert Plant, everyone talks about, and rightfully so, how great
Yeah.
Bonham is on drums,
Oh, for sure.
and John Paul Jones is just kind of there.
He doesn't. He definitely didn't get the credit because
Yeah,
he was the fourth wheel. He was.
It is kind of like ironic, like as iconic as that band was and became and it influenced so many people.
hmm
The bass player and the drummer, when they lock, that's magical. The drummer gets a ton of credit. Like you
yeah,
said, Robert Plant does, Jimmy Page does, but for whatever reason, John Paul Jones is always like the forgotten stepchild that just, oh yeah, and they had a pretty cool bass player.
yeah. He's just there. He's just there with his bowl cut,
Yeah,
and the puffy things on his shirt. He's just in the
yeah.
background. That's it.
He was more than a bass player, though.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a
absolutely.
keyboardist too. Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Yep. Yep. Same with what's his face from Queen Deacon. Like he's
John
just
Deacon.
John
John
Deacon's
Deacon,
just
yeah.
there. No one really go. It's all Freddie Mercury up there. And then you got your Brian May, rightfully so. But I don't know. He just doesn't get talked about enough. The guy's
He
another
was an
fantastic
excellent.
player.
He was an excellent bass player.
He really is.
Yeah, yeah. And I respect him because after Queen, he's like, I'm done. I did Queen. What more do I need on my resume? I'm good. But yeah, that
Talking about
definitely.
Queen, my girlfriend Tammy and I the other night we pulled out um, the game. And we were
That's a
listening
good
to that.
album.
Mhm.
Dragon Attack has always been my favorite Queen song. And that bass line,
Yeah.
that bass riff in that, it's just nasty.
Yeah, yeah, and he doesn't get another one that can play anything. And you look at
Yes.
Queen; they have all sorts of styles of what they would in their songs. No problem doing it. Same
Hmm.
with yeah, Zeppelin was more rock focused, but still, they got the bluesy stuff. You got your heavier stuff. You got your mellow song. JPJ was able to do it, and he did it well. And like I said, playing in that cover band just opened my eyes to like shit, there's way more to this. And also you have to step up your game as a player to be able to
Yeah.
do it. So that kind of helped me become a better player. But yeah, that's that easily my number two. Easily. All
Nice.
right. Who's your number one? Shit, we're on number one already. Freddie, who's your number one
And this
drumming
is
influence?
it's so hard for me because I've got so many. But I guess sticking to the guys that really got me started in the 80s, I would say I'm going to go to a guy that doesn't get mentioned as much as he should. I'm going to go Eric Carr for Kiss
Hmm.
Nice.
Okay.
because
Nice.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm 53 years old, so I knew who Kiss was in the 70s. My older cousin, who's like 12, 13 years older than me, he had all the Kiss posters on his wall. And I remember from being a
hmm
really little kid, I'm like, I saw the posters and the pictures, but it didn't really connect with me. And then in 83, when they took off the makeup, did Lick It Up and everything, that's when I started getting into them. Once I discovered Quiet Riot, Motley Crue, then I started kind of really just exploring everything. So the Eric Carr era of Kiss, that is my favorite era of Kiss. I know some people might think that's blasphemous because
Now
it's not the
No, because
70s,
it's mine too.
but
I'm
especially
70s
like
guy.
the Bruce Kulick Eric Carr combination, that to me was my favorite Kiss albums. I mean, and I know people bash on some of those albums, but they're just damn good albums. And Eric, the thing about Eric was he had a habit of playing where most everybody would throw in a snare hit. Every now and then he would throw in a floor tom hit or a high
Okay.
tom hit, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
it
you're right.
wasn't just a boom. It was all like it just almost had like a thundering kind of sound because he would
hmm
always add in his toms when he was doing snare hits and cymbal crashes, and it just sounded big and huge. And he really kind of, to me, he actually helped change Kiss's sound. Because if they'd have just had just a straight up, just 4/4 guy that just played bass, snare, hi hat, they probably would have still had a more 80s sound. But the fact that he added so much with his drumming and his background vocals is just, he really kind of brought them into a new era. And he actually made some of their sounds that, like the Creatures of the Night album. That's a
Oh, it's
heavy album,
huge.
and it is his
Yeah.
drumming that makes it such a heavy album.
Speaking of his vocals, I always loved hearing him sing lead vocal on Black Diamond.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
He had a hell of a voice, man. That dude was,
Yeah.
he played guitar, he could sing, he played drums. Dude was ultra talented, and he was just happy to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you're right. Yeah.
Little Caesar on Hot in the Shade was
Oh, yeah.
a great song too.
He doesn't get mentioned. Everybody always talks about, Peter Criss, and then when we start talking about other drummers, yeah, they talk about Tommy Lee, which I did. Another one of my favorites is Alex Van Halen. So, but
Yeah.
those are guys that you expect to hear.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why I went with Eric over Alex. Just, I love 80s Kiss, and it was because of Eric Carr. He brought something different. He was the Thunder God. He really was.
Mhm.
And when you're talking about Kiss drummers, I always thought, just my opinion, I always thought Eric Singer was a little bit more technically sound
Oh yeah,
over
Great
Eric Carr.
player. I
Yeah.
mean, I've talked about how much I love the Badlands, and his playing on that.
Yes.
Fucking killer. It's just goddamn killer. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah,
And that
see,
Revenge album.
what was that?
The Revenge album is
oh hell yeah, dude.
my favorite Kiss album.
Mm-hmm. Cause see, I'm more of a fan of the '70s Kiss, but I always look. I've said this before. Like Kiss seemed like they were trying. They were setting trends in the '70s, but they're trying to chase them in the '80s.
Yeah, yeah.
And the thing
It's
was,
we've talked
times
about this.
changed.
The same thing Motley Crue did.
Yeah,
They set the trends in the 80s, and in the 90s they followed them.
yeah, and that's the thing where it's like, you look at it though. Like, what 45-year-old guy is going to start a new trend in music? It's like, yeah, Kiss tried to do what was popular at the time, and then in the late '90s they went back to the makeup. So it was like I kind of get it, but I don't know. Just for me, the '70s. See, I wasn't like a big Kiss fan in the '70s. I was a kid. I remember my cousin liking them, having the posters and the music and the records and all that stuff. But yeah,
I
I
guess
don't know.
maybe it's just because that was when I discovered. That's when I really, when at '83, when I got that Quiet Riot album, everything in my life changed. That's when
Yeah.
I would go to the stores with my mom, and I would sit in the magazine rack and I would read Hit Parader and Cream and Circus, and I would
Mhm.
beg her to buy them for me. And then I would go home, I would read all the articles, and so that's when I really dove into this music. And that was
Yeah.
when Lick It Up came out, and then Asylum, and so that was my true introduction to Kiss. Now I
Okay.
love the '70s stuff, but for me,
Yeah, same here.
that's when I discovered them. Just like with Van Halen.
Mhm.
My favorite Van Halen album is 1984, but that was my true experience with them because I didn't have 5 or 6 previous albums like a lot of other people who were older.
Yeah.
So when '84 came out, I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Well, see that was my first and Van Halen's my favorite band, and that was my first album as well. And I almost hate to admit it, but the song "Jump" got me to buy the cassette.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, that's a pop radio hit. But then you play the rest of that album, I remember just being like, holy
Yeah.
shit, this is way more kick ass than that fucking first tune. Holy
And dude,
crap.
Alex is a hell of a drummer. The way he
Yeah.
just had little nuances of things that he would do that the average drummer wouldn't do that
Yes.
made
Yeah.
their sound. And it didn't matter if it was with Sammy Hagar, didn't matter if it was with David Lee Roth. He would always had a way of doing things in verses and choruses, or maybe little intros, or he would get a drum break, little 30-second solo on a song. And he just made it to where you knew, like the moment you heard the drum kick in, that's Alex Van Halen. His drum
Yeah.
set and Eddie's guitar is, if you heard the drums or the guitar, you knew without a doubt within 3 seconds that's a Van Halen song. Doesn't matter
Yeah, that's true.
who the singer is.
Yeah,
And
and that's
with Alex and Van Halen, I swear to God, on every album, in order, his drumming got better.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was going to say that. You're right.
And
100%
balance
right.
and balance, his drum tracks on balance,
Are ridiculous.
just fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, because it's almost yeah. You got Eddie Van Halen, a guitar legend, but then it was you know the flashiness of DLR or the vocals of Sammy Hagar. They're the ones that those two will always come in the cut. Which who do you like better, Van Halen or Van Hagar? You know that kind of crap. But then like Alex is just known as Eddie's brother.
Yeah,
You
just
know,
Eddie's
he's
brother.
playing drums.
Yep.
And the guy, you're right. He's so underrated and he's so damn good at what he does. Do we lose Mojo? Oh, here he is.
No, I'm here.
You didn't pay the electric bill?
No, I was using my computer monitors as my lighting source instead of this overhead light.
Nice.
And
But dude, it's so hard though to pick just three. And like I said,
Oh yeah,
if
oh
you
yeah.
if you'd have asked me like, okay, who are the ones that are influencing me now that I'm playing a completely different style of music, I would give you three complete. Like, okay, for example, I'm friends with a guy named Will Hunt. He plays drums for Evanescence right now,
yeah,
and
Mm-hmm.
he was in between gigs and he put a thing on Facebook looking to give lessons to people. So of course I messaged him. Didn't expect to hear back from him. He contacts me back. I send him what my band was doing. He's like, "Yeah, dude, I'd love to work with you," because he didn't have time to teach somebody how to hold drumsticks. So he wanted to work with somebody that already kind of knew. So I would go and I would do things with Will. We would bounce back and forth, show each other different things, and we would talk all the time. And he always just kept saying, if you want to be a drummer, he goes, you got to ask yourself. He goes, because there's different ways of doing this. You can either be a meat and potatoes guy or you can be the flashy guy. He goes, imagine this. He goes, let's say we're in a band together and you got 80,000 people that we're there to play with. And you got Dream Theater that's coming on before us. And the entire audience is going to be absolutely wild by what they're doing. But after about the third or fourth song, they're going to kind of get bored with it unless it's just a bunch of musicians. He goes, but then you imagine somebody like AC/DC comes out and that same exact 80,000 people, you're going to see them pumping their fists, girls taking off their clothes, place going ape shit crazy. He goes, so do you want to be a drummer that does his job and makes people feel the music and makes the crowd bounce? Or do you want to be the guy that wows the musicians in the room but bores everybody else? I'm like,
I
that's a great idea. And so ever since then, I'm like, damn, I'm just going to play to whatever the hell we need.
yeah, yeah. I've seen Dream Theater 2 or 3 times. And that's one of those bands I watched play and I went to myself, I will never be this good. Like that
No,
was one of the bands I'm like, there's no way I'm getting to this level. But you're right, yeah. It's like the old joke, as a rock bassist, you play as a jazz bassist, you play thousands of notes in front of 4 people. As a rock bassist, you play 4 notes in front of thousands of
a
people.
thousand people.
yep,
Yeah, so yeah, I get that. I totally get that. And as a bassist, I get the whole concept of playing to the song. You got a job, you do your job. I always said with bassists and with drummers, if you do your basic stuff and you're good at it, you're gonna get gigs and
oh
you're gonna
yeah,
yeah, you just do your job. The
yeah,
you can't do the flashy stuff. You don't have the basics down.
no,
Then the
absolutely
flashy
you
stuff
can't.
becomes just noise and doesn't make any sense.
And you can take a song that if you were to play just a straight 4/4 beat and add a little groove to it, it's one way. But then you all of a sudden you start adding in double time and halftime and all these crazy little fills and cymbal tings and tangs, and just by doing that, you have completely changed the song. And
Yeah,
it, it just doesn't have there's some songs that's required, but unless you're playing stuff that really requires that, just play what you need, man, and make the people feel it.
exactly. You're so right. All right, I forgot where that was you, right, Freddie?
Yep, that was
All
me.
right. All right, Mojo, who's your number one vocal influence?
Oh man, I, holy shit. So I again had a hard time doing three. I could have went with who I think my favorite rock singer of all time is, and that's Freddie Mercury.
Mhm.
Or I could have went with Robert Plant because I'm a huge Led Zeppelin fan. Um, I could have went Vince Neil because I'm a huge Motley Crue fan. Um, all the way to like Alice Cooper, or I love Rob Zombie's vocals, and he's not singing. His, I've always loved his vocals, but uh, I'm a huge, huge Van Halen fan, and I will always have love and admiration for Sammy Hagar's vocals. So,
Okay.
Hell yeah.
All right.
on God Damn It, from Good Enough, that opens up 5150.
Hello, baby.
Yep.
To my favorite Van Halen song is Humans Being.
I
Mm-hmm.
love that song. Hell
Good
yeah.
tune. Yep, I'm with you.
God, in Dreams, his vocals
Yep.
in Dreams is the stuff they did on For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, right now, and his solo stuff going back.
Oh, I'm a bigger fan of Sammy than Dave. Period. And
So am
that
I.
definitely counts
Mm.
solo shit because there's only one way to rock. That
Yes.
is fucking.
I love the version he did with Van Halen on their oh shit, what was it? Live Right Here, Right Now.
Yeah.
With him and Eddie trading off solos. Oh, what a kick-ass version of that song.
Of
Oh,
what song?
I was in a band, we did that version. Just
Hell yeah.
so
I
fucking
would
tasty.
actually love to cover that song.
Which
Can't
one?
Be
Great
Rock.
tune.
There's only one way to rock.
Ah,
With Sammy.
We
yeah.
should discuss that at band practice on Monday.
I'd be open for discussion.
Well, that and I mean, Two Sides Love's a great fucking song.
Oh hell
Yeah.
yeah, dude! I love
Everybody
that
loves
VOA
I
album.
Can't Drive 55, but
It's still a
Through the
great
Lockbox.
tune, though. It's
But
still a great fucking
Whiskey
tune.
was.
1, 2, 3, Lockbox is great. Yeah,
I always thought like Eagles Fly
I was gonna
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
I'm with
was
you.
Yeah.
something far superior too.
Yeah, if you're looking at solo stuff
Well,
only,
look at Montrose. Look, we
Montrose
did.
has great songs
Yeah.
too. Oh yeah,
Yes.
oh yeah. But if you look at the solo stuff from DLR and Sammy, it's not even close. Sammy
No.
just destroys, blows them away.
Yeah.
I'm a bigger fan of Van Halen with DLR though, just because
I guess.
the Sorry, go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
Oh, to me, it falls in the category of frontman or singer. Roth is a better frontman by far. I mean, he's legendary as a frontman.
Yeah.
As a singer,
Sammy
Nice,
all
no?
day.
Sammy,
Yeah, I get.
Sammy
I'm not
like-
disputing that. I also think Sammy's a good frontman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's no slouch.
He makes a hell of a fucking margarita too.
That's
I mean,
right.
I saw him when his Marching for Mars tour, and
Yeah.
I was right in the front. I got a early entry pass from a local radio station, and he had the whole fucking stage set up like a living room. I mean,
That's
you walked
cool.
in, hey, you're at a fucking party, right? And he's got bar stools out on the table or on the stage. And he's mixing up fucking Wabaritas, and he passes them out. And he hands
Wabaritas, of course he
And
is.
when
Yes.
I remember he
Hilarious.
said,
Hell yeah.
He goes, take a drink, pass it along, and share. He hands me one. I drank the whole thing, and everybody else can go fuck themselves. I don't care.
That's right. I'm drinking. Someone's taking a sip of Sammy's drink and passing it. That's not healthy. I'm saving lives.
Well, yeah, and enhancing my own in the same fucking.
Yeah, you were saving lives before COVID, man. Because I saw him when he was celebrating 40 years in music. So he played stuff from Montrose, solo stuff, Van Halen stuff.
Chicken foot.
I think he might have had a Chicken Foot song in there. I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember. And then he played like 5 Led Zeppelin songs. He was like, I'm playing music I was influenced by as well. And he
Oh, yeah.
had Michael Anthony was with him. Is it Vic Johnson was on guitar?
Was Jason drumming for him at that point?
Jason was drumming for him. It was a fantastic show. Oh my God. It was like, and he can still sing. That's what blows
Yeah.
me away. He's pushing 80 and the guy can still hit, for the most part, hit those notes. Like, holy shit, dude.
Oh yeah.
That's just not human.
But he's always taking care of himself, though. You've never heard stories about him being shit faced or strung out or almost ODing or almost dying.
That
He
is
might like to
true.
drink, but I think he probably got a lot of his partying and his bullshit out of the way in the 70s and realized, wow, I can make a long career out of this if I avoid all of the shit I've seen my buddies do.
Doing
Well,
stupid
it's the
shit.
Right.
same thing that Alice Cooper and Rob Halford did.
Yeah.
They got fucking sober in the mid 80s, and look at them now.
Yeah.
They can still get
it.
it fuck done, which just is astounding.
But I also think part of it is just the luck of the draw. Like,
Yeah.
Ronnie James Dio did nothing to warm up his voice for going on. He just went out and sang. I remember hearing an interview with Eddie Trunk. He was telling a story how he was like, I asked, Ronnie, what do you do to go before you go on stage? Do you loosen up? Do you want? He's like, no, let's go out and sing. I don't do anything. And it's like, that's just all right. So you just lucked out physically to be able to
Yeah.
do that instead of having to worry about, anything else blowing out your voice or some kind of stuff like that.
Well,
All right, Jay,
I'm
who's,
glad to hear Sammy get mentioned because
yeah.
he gets overlooked when you start talking about great singers and frontmen, songwriters. He doesn't get mentioned enough. Sammy is a hell of a singer.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
But see,
It-
I'm a more, like I was saying before, I'm a bigger fan of the earlier stuff of Van
Yeah.
Halen with DLR. Not because, yeah, I get it. DLR's voice wasn't the best. I get that. It's the showmanship, fantastic. I just think the band had a different attitude. You got these young
Yeah.
go-getters that want to put out party style music, and I think the music changed in '86. You could hear some, sounds they had because some of those songs were written before Sammy was in the band.
Yeah.
But as they got more mature, I think their playing got more mature too.
Well, think
Which
about this.
I'm not
In the
knocking it. I like it, but I like that hungry go-getter. Let's go tear it up kind of attitude of the
by the
older
time Sammy
songs.
got in the band, they were all married. They all had they were either had kids or were going to be having kids shortly. So they were in a completely different mindset when Sammy
They were
joined the band.
vets.
for
They were
sure,
veterans
yeah.
at this shit.
Yeah. So they like. Do we still want to write songs about chasing girls and riding around in convertibles,
Yes.
or do we want to write
Yeah.
shit about what we know now as adults? And
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing them, was it the 91 MTV Music Awards? That's the one infamous for Poison, getting
Yeah.
CC being all fucked up and then
The one
fighting
where
backstage, all this shit.
they did pound cake on that.
They did
Yeah.
Pound Cake on it, and it was like, we're going to show you youngsters how to do this. And it was like you
Yeah.
had this experienced musicians up there. They killed it. Absolutely
Yeah.
killed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally respect you picking Sam. That's a good choice. All right, what's your number one, Jay, for guitarist? Your guitar influence?
I could have went a lot of ways with this pick. I mean, from one aspect of my playing, I would pick Jerry Cantrell, because Alice in Chains was a very big influence on me musically, and Jerry's playing is great. From the same hard rock or hair metal genre, Bill Leverty comes to mind. Steve Brown from Trickster comes to mind. Reb Beach is one of my heroes. I mean, that guy is so fucking good.
Yeah.
It hurts to watch him play. And also, I mean, Zakk Wylde is one of my biggest influences. I mean,
I thought that's who you're gonna pick.
Riffs and all those harmonics.
The pinch harmonics, yep.
You've heard me play, Brian, and you can tell there's a lot of Zakk Wylde influence in my playing. But and then the guitar duos that influenced me equally of Glenn Tipton and KK Downing, Snake Sabo and Scotty Hill, Angus and Malcolm, Joey Ellen and Eric Turner from Warrant.
All right,
All
now
those
that you've
guys are
named
great
every
now.
guitarist, how about the one that's your number
Well,
one?
I'm saving. You'll understand why. All of those guys are huge influences on my playing, and they're all great. But one
Please say
who
Richie Kotzen.
I like Richie.
Yeah, Richie's a badass.
Play. I'm with you.
I can't forget about, Paul Gilbert. He's one of my heroes too. But for this, George Lynch.
All right. Okay.
Oh yeah, he is one of my
That-
favorite guitar players.
Yeah,
That
the
dude is
guy.
a
Come on.
badass.
Yeah.
That attitude in his playing, I'm sure Ryan can attest to this, is pretty prevalent in my playing. And he's got such a great ear, and he can go off on solos and riffs and jams for fucking years if he wants to. And it's all good. I mean, he can just go. And I mean,
For sure.
but what he did in Dokken was amazing. What he did
Lynch
with
Mob.
Wicked Sensation.
Yep.
That's why he made my number 3, if you will.
Mhm.
That album is too fucking good
It's
to believe.
it's unbelievably good.
It
It's
really
just
is.
yeah.
The cool thing about George is when he played,
the riffs, the solos, the writing, his demeanor. I mean, I've watched him play once live with Lynch Mob. I was fucking mesmerized by watching him. I wasn't paying attention to the rest of the fucking band, but I knew that Oni was singing and Robbie Crane was playing bass, and I think Scott Coogan was playing drums. But I couldn't have told you what the fuck they were doing throughout the whole set. I was watching George.
Well, when a bassist does his job, you don't notice. When he doesn't do his job, everybody notices. That's
You
the
got a
thing
valid
with
point.
bass.
That's been said over the years. Although I will always give credit to a great bass player because they allow a guitar player to do the fucking job.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been blessed to play with some real good bass players over the year, and probably none better than our bass player, Craig. I mean, that fucking guy he's scary good, and I don't even know if he would admit it. He doesn't.
No, he would never admit it.
His ego but and then like the city thing we did. I mean, you're a fantastic bass player, Brian, and if you didn't live that far away, we'd be jamming, man.
Nice. I would love to do that. Yeah, hell yeah. That's a great. You're right.
There's
Wicked
a lot of
Sensation.
great fucking players that build up anybody's repertoire as a musician. I could probably rattle off 30 guitar players that are an influence to me in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And depending upon the day, or what you said, Freddie, the style of music you're playing now.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I'm a big thrash fan. If we're playing something heavier, you're more apt to hear my influence of Scott Ian or Kerry King, or Gary Holt or whoever,
for sure.
Than if we're playing something like our single "Slave to the Thrill."
Yeah,
you listen to that song, you're not going to hear that part of my play. You're going to hear the Mick Mars part.
Yeah,
you're
of course.
Hear,
that makes sense.
Zach Wilde a little bit. You're not going to hear anything else.
That's how it is with the drumming. Like if you were to listen to the music that we have up on Spotify and iTunes, depending on what song you're listening to, you can definitely tell, like, okay, obviously he's like an 80s hair metal kind of drummer. But then you've got other stuff, a lot of our newer stuff that's on the F.I.L.T.H 539 album. A lot of that stuff you can hear more of my like Lamb of God influence, my Seven Dust influence, my Pantera kind of influence. And but it all depends on what I'm playing. Like I can write stuff very similar to that, but I can also go back to the 80s. It just, you play to whatever fits the song. And same thing with guitars, man. But I will go back to George Lynch. One thing I always loved about him is, see how some guitars, they just look like it's effortless with them and they're just kind of sweeping around.
That's a good point.
George always looked like he was attacking the guitar. Like he played like he was hitting that son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
he attacked
absolutely.
it.
It's like he caught it fucking his girlfriend or his
Yeah.
wife.
I was gonna say like an ode him
It's
money.
fucking cool too. You know? I mean, with that reverse headstock, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe you could.
Right.
Okay. All right. That's what you want to do with your instruments. Why does this guitar smell like flounder? What's going on? Huh. All right. With my last one, I mean, this talk about a guy who does the job that you're supposed to and is completely underrated and overshadowed by the rest of the band. We already talked about him because he's part of this band's sound as well. I'm going with Michael Anthony.
Nice.
You know, it's
Yes.
such a shame that he gets shit on the way he did
I
later in life.
He's
He,
like one of the nicest guys in
yeah,
the goddamn industry. But for me, I mean, Van Halen was my favorite band. You know, like I said, 1984 set the whole path for me being into music. But he kind of was the guy, my go-to guy during my formative years of playing
yeah,
the instrument. And he's the guy that isn't the one trying to steal the spotlight. He, like you said, Jay, he does his job so Eddie Van Halen can be Eddie Van Halen. He locked in with the drummer to get that have that rhythm section do what it had to do. And I'm sorry, but his vocals, background vocals with
His
Eddie's,
backing vocals were
yep.
made
fucking
the Van
awesome.
Halen sound.
Somebody give me a doctor. You running with the devil. Oh yeah, beautiful girls. Oh yeah,
That's crazy.
I was just
Yeah.
about to say that his background
Without
vocals were the
him, that
secret
band is
sauce.
not the same. Yeah. And you know, at the time, when I first started getting influenced by him, I was like, well, yeah, he's doing what he's playing bass and letting Eddie and Dave take the showcase or Sammy later on be the front guys. They're the center of attention. All right. But then once I started learning how to actually play, I'm like, this guy's doing a lot
A lot
more
more. Yep.
than what's you seeing on the surface. And he's singing incredible background vocals as he does it. And yeah, that guy to me is the epitome of what a bassist does. He does all. He's got the backing vocals. He's got the great bass lines he's playing. He does stuff to let everyone else take the spotlight. And he's a fucking nice guy. You know, and he's in the background. No one, like JPJ doesn't get the. He gets probably the least credit out of that band.
Oh,
But you
for
know,
sure.
over the years and all the interviews with all of the drama that surrounded Dave and Sammy and then Alex and Eddie kind of going up brothers against the world kind of thing, no matter what, Michael Anthony always kept it polite and
Yep.
professional and
Yeah.
never bashed anybody. He was always just, I was just, you know, he kept it almost like, I wouldn't say politically correct. He was just, again, I was happy to be there. I did my job and I loved all of the albums that I played on. And he
And he
never
still
bashed those
does.
guys.
Yeah.
And he still does.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
He's a very stand-up guy.
Yeah, and that's you're right. You're totally right. And that goes a long way in this
It
industry, you
does.
know. Don't be a dick. It's that simple. Just don't be a dick. I mean, but yeah, like you said, he got shit from the rest of the band, especially the rest of the whole band. The whole band gave him shit. And
Everybody except for Sammy.
except for Sammy, I was gonna
Yep.
say that. Yep. And it's just like, oh, maybe Gary Sharon, but he wasn't there long enough. He wasn't there long enough to start giving him shit. But yeah, it's just like you got this guy that does his role perfectly, and he's a nice guy. Like, come on, that's too perfect. So that's my number one influence right there, easily. All right, so let's go through your plugs, guys. Why don't you tell the folks where they can find you at, what you got going on? We'll do the same order. So, Freddie, why don't you once again tell where everyone they can find you at?
I do the Hair Me Out show right now. It's on Oldies 103. It's an internet station. But I've got two more shows there, and then I'm going to be leaving there. I'll be announcing soon the stations I'm hoping to land on. If you want to hear me play drums in the band, like I said, it's the easiest way to find us online is We Are Filth without spaces. and we're on iTunes, we're on Spotify. Yeah, and I'm on all the Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff, all the socials.
All right, all right. Mojo, I want to tell the folks where they can find you at. Maybe promote Sweet Damage this time around.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Mojo Moomy or Mojo_Moomy on Instagram. I am the lead vocalist of Sweet Damage, and you can find us on Spotify and Facebook at Sweet Damage Band, and over on YouTube at Sweet Damage Band. And you can find my old podcasts on podbean.com. It's mojomoomy.podbean.com. But yeah.
All right, nice.
There you go.
Cool. All right, Jay, why don't you throw your plugs out there?
Let me start with, I'm glad I'm not going to have to slap my singer at practice for not plugging the band he's in. That makes me very happy.
You have hurt in his hand so he can't play.
That's a good point. I don't want to scuff myself.
You are the last person I want to piss off. I do know that.
You're a smart man, wise beyond your years. Anyway, find me on X, find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram, find me here in the basement and a couple other places. I like to hang out occasionally. You can find me in Mojo's band, Sweet Damage. Like he said, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on all streaming platforms, and stay tuned. We got a lot of shit coming in due time.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Yeah, definitely check out Sweet Damage's latest songs, Slave to the Thrill. It's killer, dude. Guys, it's really good. What was that? I played it last week, and I was saying how it was just stuck on my head for a week. It's so damn good.
That is a huge fucking compliment.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's supposed to be.
Well, yeah,
you damn straight it is.
When you mentioned that, I posted about it in the band chat, and I believe it was Ryan actually said, "Well, that's cool. We think the same thing." And I'm like, "This hits a little different, man. He didn't write the song. We wrote the song. You're supposed to like what you write, right?"
I'm just a sarcastic asshole. That's all that was.
Join the club. Yeah, that same song I wrote and then rehearsed 400 times this year. It's stuck in my head. I don't know how. Exactly. It's catchy.
But no, we're getting a good response to the video,
awesome.
To the single, to the interview we did with you, and on behalf of the rest of the guys, thanks for doing that for us.
Hey, no problem.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on.
That was fun, and I do not remember most of that interview.
That was no.
Now it's evidence.
It's not that you didn't remember; it's that the root beer whiskey clouded your vision.
All right, let me go through my shit. Find me on X at HB Basement. Always talking music there. And download the Stationhead app, and you can listen to deep metal tracks every Friday night on Stationhead. And guys, thanks for being on. Totally appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. And let me go through my usual YouTube shit. Like, share, subscribe, hype this up, all that crap to help the algorithm, however the fuck that works. And until the next time, keep your hair high and your metal horns even higher. Take care.
Brian, what the hell are you talking about? I don't know, really.